Welcome everybody, and today we'll discuss about CMA versus ACCA. Hey, CMA means Indian CMA I am talking about. Many students continuously ask question that, sir, ACCA is good or shall we do Indian CMA or shall we do chartered accountancy? So many type of questions actually come in your mind. So today we'll do a deep dive into what is Indian CMA compared to ACCA and what is best, right? And what are the advantages? Now, both the courses are wonderful, no doubt about it. But everybody has its own advantage. So, what is best suited for you, you will be able to decide after this video. So, watch this video till the end. Now, let's start first understanding about ACCA. We have heard that there is something called as chartered accountancy, right? CA, they do the audits, they are the top notch accountants in India. That's what we heard. Same way, in UK, the chartered accountants are ACCA, right? And in USA, they are called as CPA, Certified Public Accountants. Because when I was a student, I was confused. What is this ACCA? What is this CPA? I was totally confused. But now I don't want you to get confused. ACCA is UK Chartered Accountancy and CPA is US Chartered Accountancy. Okay. Now, we understood what is ACCA. It is simply Chartered Accountancy given by UK. But what they did special is they made it international because they ruled the whole world for many years. So they used their influence to do tie-ups with many countries, and in over 180 countries ACCA is recognized, right? And that's why ACCA is considered to be a more global program compared to any other course, and that's why it is special. Now let's understand what is the orientation. Now when you think about Indian CMA, we study Indian tax, Indian GST, right? We study international taxation also, but we study corporate laws from India. We also study Indian accounting standards. So when we study either Indian Chartered Accountancy or Indian CMA, our orientation is towards Indian tax and corporate laws, Indian accounting standards. But when you study ACCA course, the orientation is different. There we study UK corporate law, UK taxation. There is an international variant in ACCA. So there we study international taxation more. There we study IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. So when you do ACCA, because it is accountancy related course, international financial reporting standards are taught in much more depth. Even in Indian CMA we study IFRS, but compared to Indian CMA, IFRS is taught in much more depth in ACCA. So the orientation is different. Indian CMA's purpose is to serve Indian corporates mostly, and ACCA's purpose is to go global considering UK's interests. Okay, this is what the orientation is. Now, why I taught you the orientation first? Because when we actually understand future slides, this will become the base for you to understand. Now, what about jobs? Everybody is interested about jobs, right? So, employment wise, think about you are an Indian student. Now, from Indian student perspective, if you complete Indian CMA or you complete ACCA, in India salaries are similar. There is no much difference. So I should not say that ACCA is great and ACCA will pay you more salaries. Nothing as such. Job wise, both get similar salaries. So it's upon the candidate how he presents himself. But there is a catch here. Indian CMA can work in a domestic company, in a CA CMA firm or in an LLP. So at a small level or at a big level, even in MNC, Indian CMA can work here. But when it comes to ACCA, Indian firms, Indian companies don't recognize it. Only multinational companies will recognize ACCA certification for jobs. Because ACCAs are specialists in IFRS and multinational companies have multiple branches in different countries, so they need the services of ACCA. Now when I am talking about multinational companies, we always keep in mind Deloitte, Berkadia, DuPont, something like that. Wait, even Tata's, Reliance are multinationals. These are Indian multinationals. So these companies will also consider ACCAs for jobs. So any multinational, whether it is origin is India or any other country, multinationals will consider ACCA candidates. Job wise, CMA, ACCA get same salaries. But Indian CMAs have to struggle a little more to get jobs compared to a ACCA pass out. Why, I will tell you. ACCA placement cell is well organized and has very strong network, whereas Indian CMA is trying to establish the network for placements. So that's why little students will face uncomfort when they go for placements with CMA course, but they will end up getting a good job similar to the package of ACCA, but little struggle is there. When you pass ACCA, struggles are very less. You have to just apply at accajobs.com and there you can easily start getting the offers and interviews. So that's much easier, right? Now let's go to the next aspect. If you don't want to get into job, but you want to become a consultant, what is best, CMA or ACCA? If somebody asks me, I will tell you don't require a single course to become a consultant. Who becomes a consultant? A person who has knowledge, right? Who has expertise in the industry. Now, irrespective of you are a CMA or ACCA, doesn't make difference. It is the knowledge, skill, the value addition what you can do that matters. What is the amount of income you can earn? There is no limit to it in consulting. But one small thing which I will share, ACCA will have global opportunities in consulting and will get easy acceptance across the globe in consulting areas compared to CMAs. Reason being again recognition, right? Otherwise than that, knowledge wise no difference. It is all individual skill and talent how you take it up. After completing CMA, actually employment wise one point I did not take up, you will get around easily 8 lakhs worth salary, and after ACCA also around 8 lakhs only you will get the salaries. Now company to company it will vary. Some company may even offer 18 lakhs for CMA and even 18 lakhs for ACCA also. So that's why same salary packages, but on an average 8 lakhs per annum is what you should expect as an employee. Consulting no limit to income, but ACCA will have global consulting opportunities more compared to Indian CMAs. If you want to fly abroad, still ACCA will have an upper hand. Of course, performance wise, CMAs may do much better. Practicing opportunities. Now think about what are the practicing opportunities. If you are an Indian CMA, government has given you proper statutory authorities. Like you can do cost audit, you can do GST compliances, certifications, valuation also. So you got powers which are given by the conferred by the government. So you can do practice in India by taking the COP. Whereas if you are a CMA, you cannot practice anywhere other than India. But if you are ACCA, it is recognized in 180 countries, but you can easily practice. You will have signing authority as a chartered accountant in around 60 countries. So if you want to settle outside and set up a practice outside India, then ACCA will have many more opportunities compared to the CMAs. Clear? Some students ask that what is the cost? Now obviously CMA being Indian course, the cost of registration, I am only talking about registration, the cost of registration will go maximum to 60,000 rupees, right? Foundation around 6,000, inter around 20 to 25,000, final around 25,000. So like that, total registration cost itself will go to max 60,000 for entire CMA course. When you think about ACCA, registration costs are less, but exam fees is huge. That means for writing one paper of ACCA, exam fees goes to around 10,000 at the skill level, and when you go to the professional level, it even goes to 20,000 rupees per paper, per subject exam fees I am talking about. So that's why I will tell you that ACCA comes to be very costly, and Indian CMA is very, we can say, low cost compared to ACCA, right? We should not use the word cheap, right? So Indian CMA is low cost, ACCA is costly for you. That means whatever you spend for Indian CMA, you will be spending at least 5 times for doing the ACCA course. Okay? If you are taking coaching for Indian CMA, whatever fees you pay, double than that will be for ACCA. So coaching fees, Indian CMA, if it is 1 rupee, ACCA coaching fees will be 2 rupees. If Indian registration and exam cost is 1 rupee, ACCA exam and registration cost will be 5 rupee, 5 times greater. So this is very clear analysis for costing. Okay, how many papers? In Indian CMA, 20 papers are there. Suppose you have completed your 10th class and starting your Indian CMA, then you will have to write entire 20 papers. If you have completed your graduation, you will only write something called as 16 papers. That means foundation level papers are exempt. This is about Indian CMA. What about ACCA? ACCA has 13 papers. How many? 1, 3, 13 papers. Now I will not tell exactly that how many papers you will have to write after graduation or after 12th class. I will not exactly tell, because every university has different tie-ups with ACCA, every institution has different tie-ups, so it all changes actually. But one, for understanding, I tell you that basically if you have completed graduation from Usmania University, is very minimum thing, then you will be exempt for 4 papers. That means out of 13 papers, you have to write 9 papers after graduation. This is very basic thing. If you join at some other college and do ACCA along with BCom, they may give more exemptions also. But this is bare minimum, that 4 you will get. But if somebody asked me what to do, I will say write all the 13 papers, don't claim a single exemption. Why? Because foundation level papers, which you study knowledge level, we call it as ACCA. If you don't have the knowledge of the knowledge level papers, then at skill level, professional level, you will struggle a lot. And that's why whatever the university or college tell that you get exemption for 6 papers, you have to write balance 7 papers only, like that they may tell, but you will suffer a lot if you enjoy that exemption. So it is better study hard, write all the 13 papers, clear one after the other. That would be the best. Okay. So what we discussed till now, we discussed about the cost, we discussed about something called as number of papers. Now come to the third important thing, what is easy to do. Now when you take about Indian CMA, there it is divided into groups, like 4 subjects, 1 group. Now if you fail in a single subject also, you have to write the entire group again, right? So that is what the litigations with CMA in India. So foundation level, out of 4, if you fail even 1, or you don't get aggregate 50%, in that case you will fail. In inter also there are 2 groups, 8 subjects, 4 subjects, 1 group, 4 subjects, another group. If you fail in 1 or you don't get minimum 50%, again you have to write the entire group. Like that, you have some strict restrictions in Indian CMA. That makes you more knowledgeable, that's agreed, but still restrictions are tough on the student. When it comes to ACCA, you can write 1 paper at a time. That means Indian CMA exams are conducted actually 6 months one time. So again after 6 months, like in June and December. But whereas ACCA, they conduct exams quarterly. Every 3 months, one time they conduct the exams. So you have an advantage with ACCA that you can write 1 paper in each quarter. So in a year you will complete 4 papers. In the second year again 4 papers. In the third year you can complete again 4 papers. Like that you can complete ACCA without any stress. If you are confident, you can write 2 papers also. But remember, exam fees is 10 to 20,000. So before paying the fees, be sure that you will pass. That confidence you should have. Right? One more thing, ease of doing. Now, okay, mode of exams we'll discuss first, then ease of doing. Okay, mode of exams. ACCA is completely online exam using Excel sheets. Okay, whereas CMA is completely offline exam, pen and paper based exam. So ACCA is more international standards they consider while conducting the exams. What is easy to do? Because many students ask, sir, kya easy hai? I will simply tell that ACCA is comparatively much easier than Indian CMA. Much easier. Subject wise pass percentage are kept in the ACCA website. When you check that, you will understand that minimum 30% to 50%, in between that subject wise pass percentages are. That means people considerably easily pass ACCA papers than compared to CMA, because CMA you have to take the burden of 4 papers at a time. So obviously the difficulty levels will rise, and pass percentage is around 10 to 25% max. Whereas ACCA you write 1 paper at a time, max 2 papers. So for you it becomes easy because 30 to 50% pass percentage. Okay, so what is easy? No doubt ACCA is easy. But your English skills should be awesome when you think about ACCA, because your papers may be corrected by people from UK. So they expect some decent English writing. Now what is the best part which you should know is that you complete Indian CMA and then complete ACCA, or you complete ACCA and then you can come back to Indian CMA also. So you may think that I should do this or that, or in other way you can think, how can I do both the courses? So now I am going to answer how you can do both the courses one after the other by claiming the benefits given under the memorandum of understanding between both the institutions. For that, I'll just show the PDF to you. On the screen, you can see that exemptions under the memorandum of understanding between the CMA India and Association of Certified Chartered Accountants, right, of UK. Now, suppose you completed Indian CMA, and after completing Indian CMA, you have 3 years of internship experience or company experience, whatever it may be. You are an ACMA, and after getting ACMA, you have 5 years experience. Right? If you are FCMA, then automatically it is deemed that you have 5 years of experience. So ACMA with 5 years experience, then you will get exemption for 9 papers. Totally 9 papers. So ACCA has 13 papers, right? So balance 9 papers you get exemption, and only the 4 papers you have to write. Now what are the 4 papers? Strategic business leadership. This is wonderful paper. I already taught this to many students. Strategic business reporting, because this is advanced financial reporting standard. So these 2 papers you have to compulsorily prepare. Other than these 2 papers, there are 4 more papers, out of which you should write 2 papers, like out of advanced financial management, advanced auditing and assurance, advanced taxation. Here international taxation will be there, right? And advanced performance management. This is cost accounting only. So out of these 4 you have to write 2 papers. So if you have completed CMA and you have AC associate membership plus 5 years experience, that is the case, you will write only 4 papers. But if you have not completed, you have not got your associate membership, or you have associate membership but you have just less than 5 years experience, or you just passed CMA final and you want to do ACCA, what is the case? Then in that case you will get exemption from 7 papers. That means you have to write 6 papers. And on the screen you can see that first 4 papers are compulsory, like performance management, audit, strategic business leadership, strategic business reporting are compulsory, and balance 4 papers which you can see, out of that 2 papers you should write. So if you complete CMA, then ACCA becomes easy. Either you will write balance 4 papers if you have good experience 5+ years, or if you don't, then you will write just the 6 papers and get international certification of ACCA. What about if somebody has completed ACCA and want to do CMA? Because ACCAs don't have any knowledge of Indian tax laws, Indian corporate laws, so they will be asked to write that papers only. So foundation is anyhow exempt, intermediate also 4 papers are exempt, 6 papers are exempt, and only 2 papers, that is taxation related papers, you have to write. In final you get 4 exemptions in Indian CMA course, but then you have to write the balance 4, that is direct tax, indirect tax, cost and management audit and corporate laws, because if you want to come into India and practice in India, then you should have the knowledge of all this. That's why you will be asked to write these 4 papers at final, 2 papers at inter. So totally 6 papers. ACCA passed out, ACCA member should write the 6 papers to get Indian CMA certification. Other than that, skill training, computer certification and all that, anyhow ACCA members will not be asked to do in India. Anyhow, it looks like a joke, right? So with this we understood about how many exemptions you will get. Further we'll discuss so many new things which are important. Now when you think about articleship, Indian CMA is more rigid, ACCA is more flexible. So what Indian CMA say, that you should do at least 15 months articleship before writing final exams, and after that you write final exam and work in corporates, not a problem. But 15 months articleship is compulsory. But the flexibility with Indian CMA is that you can do this 15-month articleship in any company or under any CMA. That's the best part of it. When it comes to ACCA, you also need articleship, that 3 years, right? But that 3 years you can do after passing all the papers, or in between, or even before that. No restrictions at all, right? So that's what the flexibility of articleship with ACCA and also about CMA. So CMA, you should do 15 months training before writing CMA final, whereas in ACCA you can do any time the articleship. But both have something common, that to get the membership you should have 3 years of work experience. So if you want to become a member of ACCA or CMA, 3 years work experience is mandatory. Now, last but not the least, regarding additional certifications. Suppose you complete Indian CMA and you register with IGNOU University, then you can write 4 papers and get the MCOM certification. So this is the only additional certification with little efforts after CMA, that's what we know. But ACCA has something wonders for us, that if you complete ACCA and do some minor project, you can get BSc in Accounting and Finance from Oxford University. Because you completed your ACCA, you write 1 or 2 papers, you will get, or there are many university tie-ups with ACCA across UK, that you write 1 or 2 papers, or you complete something called as assignments, and you will get Masters of Accounting and Finance certification from universities in UK. That actually becomes a wonderful opportunity for those who completed CMA in India, and that you get ACCA certification, masters from UK. That seems to be more fancy and more lucrative for people like us who want to get masters from different countries in, or from UK at least, right? This is how all things go. I hope that I clarified all your doubts relating to CMA in India and ACCA course, what is best, what is not. Now consider your situation, write on paper what actually becomes a critical factor for you, what is not a critical factor for you. If it is not, ignore what is critical factor, write all that and measure, and then take a wise decision. Still you face difficulty in deciding, you can comment below, will always be there to help you. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care.